Good morning, Antigua and Barbuda, and to everyone who was tuned in this morning. I am your meteorologist, Jaleel Jacobs, and I'm here to bring you today's tropical weather outlook for Thursday, the 10th of October, 2024. And straight away we jump into our 7-day outlook of the Atlantic Basin. And we see that first off, there are no coastal watches or warnings at this time for the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands. So that's good news for us. However, we still have some tropical storm and hurricane warnings in effect for the east coast of Florida for Hurricane Milton. And there is also Hurricane Leslie in the central Atlantic Basin, not being a bother to anyone at this time, as well as an area of disturbed weather that is about to emerge off of the west coast of Africa. I will take a closer look at these three systems. First off, Hurricane Milton, and we see that there is still a hurricane warning in effect for the central parts of east coast of Florida, as well as some tropical storm warnings further to the north up to Georgia and the southeastern coast of South Carolina, as well as further down to South Florida and the northern Bahamian Islands of Abaco and Bimini. And this is due to the tropical storm conditions that are going to be expected in this area before Milton exits. And as we can see here, there's a wide field of tropical storm conditions still possible for Hurricane Milton. Milton maintained its hurricane status as it traversed over the central part of Florida overnight. And so with this very wide field of tropical storm activity, we have some tropical storm and hurricane warnings still in effect. So at 8 o'clock this morning, Hurricane Milton was about 75 miles to the east-northeast of Cape Canaveral, Florida, or 225 miles northwest of the Great Abaco Island, with a moving at 10 miles per hour, with the maximum sustained winds at around 85 miles per hour. So we'll continue to monitor Milton until it moves just south of Bermuda and gets into the central Atlantic Basin. For Hurricane Leslie will remain a hurricane until tomorrow morning before being downgraded to a tropical storm and then to an extratropical depression. So Leslie is just going to keep moving before it makes a turn to the northeast and stay into the central Atlantic, not being a bother to anyone. Interesting enough, Hurricane Leslie has maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour. So Leslie is a bit stronger than Milton is at this time, but not being a bother to anyone. So we take a look at our Atlantic satellite and we see Hurricane Leslie, as I mentioned before, in the central Atlantic. Nice area of low pressure just southeast of Bermuda, and Hurricane Milton to the northwest Atlantic, just off the coast of Florida. And we see Hurricane Milton looking a bit ragged. That is due to some southwesterly wind shear that would have sheared off a lot of the nice pristine shape we saw for Hurricane Milton in the past few days. So that wind shear has sort of traded apart in terms of its shape. It's not very symmetrical anymore, but it's still packing a punch in that area. So all the impacts are still going to be felt in this area here. For the Caribbean, we see that there's not much cloud cover. We see there's a dry and stable air mass that would have moved across the eastern Caribbean. So we're looking at very partly cloudy to partly sunny skies, even mostly sunny at times. Tropical wave would have just moved through last night and caused a bit of overnight showers in some parts of the island. There are two tropical waves now moving across the central Atlantic and that area that we expect to move off of Africa into this general region with a 20% chance of formation over the next 7 days. We are also seeing a lot of hazy conditions outside. So there is a air quality bulletin out right now for the lowering of the air quality, as there's a lot of Saharan dust that would have moved across the Atlantic Basin and is now over the eastern Caribbean. So the air quality has been reduced, and so persons who are sensitive to the dust in the air, be aware, be mindful, and take precautions for your own personal health and safety. Also, there's a high surf advisory at the moment for moderate to long period swells that are reaching mainly the northern facing coastlines. I say mainly because they could also affect some of the eastern facing coastlines and the northwestern coastlines. So we are looking at high surf advisories. So to be extremely cautious, if you do, you're a sea bather, be extremely cautious when you are going into the sea for, again, the northwest, the west, northwestern, north, northeastern, and eastern facing coastlines. We have waves at about 1.5 to 2.4 meters or 5 to 8 feet, with swells reaching as high as 2.1 meters or 7 feet in some areas. So again, be extremely cautious if you have to use the beaches over the next few days until this high surf advisory has been suspended. We also have an excessive heat warning that would have been extended up until Saturday for 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is the period in which the heat index is likely to occur, and the temperature, or the feels like temperature, tends to be higher. And this is a combination of high temperatures, relatively high humidity, and light winds that result in dangerously hot conditions. Now, we expect the winds to pick up or to pick back up by Saturday, and so we will expire that heat warning at that point, and some much cooler and more comfortable conditions will take over. So, as usual, our tips to beat the heat: you dress light, try to stay cool, use sunscreen, stay hydrated, and again, learn. Focus on the symptoms of extreme heat exhaustion or even heat stroke, and know the symptoms, know the warning signs, so that you are able to determine for yourself whether or not you are about to experience these conditions, so that you can take the necessary precautions. So this afternoon in Antigua and Barbuda, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and hazy conditions, a 30% chance of showers with a high temperature of 34 degrees Celsius. And again, this could feel a lot higher in the late morning, early afternoon hours. Winds out of the southeast at 6 to 12 miles per hour with a sunset time of 5:49 p.m. this evening. Tonight, fair to partly cloudy and hazy conditions, a 30% chance of showers with a nice cool overnight low of 23 degrees Celsius or 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And tomorrow, again, we're looking at partly cloudy conditions, still going to remain hazy for the next couple of days. 40% chance of showers, winds out of the east-southeast at 7 to 15 miles per hour. Sunrise tomorrow, 5:59 a.m. Sunset at 5:48 p.m. So here in Antigua and Barbuda, the Met Office, we have set up a abmsiwatch at gmail.com to strengthen our community engagement, even outside of Antigua and Barbuda. So we'd like you to send your pictures and videos of any extreme weather events or any noticeable or notable weather events that are taking place in your area. Send us a picture, send us a video with your name, the location, and the time, and we will post to our social media pages, Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services, on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So thank you for joining me today. Bring you Leeward Island, British Virgin Island, and the wider Caribbean weather information. Again, our social media pages: like, subscribe, follow, and share Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services on Facebook and YouTube and X. Hotline 463-4638, and our website antiguamet.com, where we make daily regular updates of the forecast and conditions on the outside. So thank you for joining me, and have a good day.